Kia ora, good evening. A Sunday drive ended in tragedy for an elderly couple reported missing after failing to return to their Gore District farm.
At just after 8 a.m. this morning, the couple's light blue 1998 Toyota Corolla was discovered in a ditch on Laura Gorge Road, 15 kilometres from Centre Bush. Police have confirmed that the two bodies discovered in the vehicle are those of 86-year-old Cyril Kubala and his 82-year-old wife Margaret Kubala. The couple left their Reby Road farm at about 4 p.m. yesterday. When they failed to return from their Sunday excursion, the alarm was raised and search and rescue teams began road searches around the Gore District. The matter has been referred to the coroner. Police are conducting an ongoing investigation into the cause.
The southern region was shaken for a second time within a week this morning. At 7:07 a.m, a 5.1 magnitude earthquake shook an area 35 kilometres northwest of Te Anau at a depth of 134 kilometres. No damage has been reported, and GNet are describing the quake as light in intensity. Last Monday evening, a 6.2 magnitude quake struck 140 kilometres west of Tuatapere at a depth of 10 kilometres with severe intensity. High sugar grass has come out on top in a study that compares weight gains from lambs grazed on sweetgrass and standard ryegrass varieties. Several Southland farms took part in the 2-year trial undertaken by Alliance Group and Sainsbury of the UK, and the faster growing, higher yielding high sugar grass is proving to be a sweet alternative for farmers.
3 farms in Southland, and there's a 31 gram growth rate advantage over a ryegrass, standard ryegrass. And this equates to lambs finishing quicker, and also there's more meat yield as well.
So what could this mean potentially for the farming industry in Southland?
If a farmer can finish the lamb slightly quicker, they can put feed into capital stock or finishing more lambs, so it's got to be a financial return for the farmer. So this is the second year of this trial, and we have 400 lambs per high sugar grass and 400 for standard ryegrass across the 3 farms. And it was over a 6 to 8 week period, and the lambs were set stocked in these paddocks, and measurements were taken throughout the period. It was entirely up to the own farmer and what breed they have on farm, but we made sure that they had the equal number of either sex or breed across both trials, and to make sure it was fair.
How does it help with how Alliance operates in processing?
Well, lambs will be finished quicker, and also we get higher yielding lambs, so that allows lambs to go to high value markets in the UK. The peak kill is normally February, March, April for Alliance Group, so potentially by using high sugar grass it can pull the average kill date forward, so that will spread our kill throughout the season, so that would be a plus for the company.
What does it mean for Sainsbury's now?
Well, Sainsbury's, they have a big push for carbon, and this is part of, if a lamb can grow quicker, it's going to reduce the carbon footprint of the lamb, so it's a positive for the environment and positive for sustainability.
The life cycle compared to normal grass, is it different?
Farmers got the perception out there it doesn't persist. It may well be because animals prefer the high sugar grass and selectively graze it out of the pasture. It could just be the fact that it doesn't withstand rotationally grazing or set stocking. It might be a management on farm.
So this is going to be an ongoing study to try and get more information around the growth of that?
Yes, so we're monitoring the pasture performance, the growth rate throughout the year. As any pasture species, they have their cycle, and when they grow and they don't grow, and people believe that the high sugar grass is a bit slower in the spring, so we are monitoring it, yes.
Is it cost comparative to other seed on the market?
The price is very similar, so there's no reason why a farmer wouldn't potentially sow high sugar grass.
Queenstown International Airport continues to grow passenger numbers, with the total number of passengers moving through the airport up 6.5% compared to September last year. Domestic passenger numbers lifted 7.3% due to increased capacity on the Auckland-Queenstown route compared to September last year, while international passenger volumes increased by 4.8%, a lower growth rate than in recent months. For the year ending September, total passenger numbers grew 5.1% to over 1,277,000. Hundreds of entrants took to their feet yesterday as part of the Southland Festival of Running. Runners had the option of taking on the full 42-kilometre marathon from Riverton to Invercargill, the half marathon from Waianawa, or the 10 or 5-kilometre events. 418 runners took part over the 4 events. In the marathon, Vajan Armstrong had the fastest men's time of 2 hours 34 minutes 19 seconds, while Clarcher Van Schie took 2 hours 56 minutes and 49 seconds, taking out the women's time. The velodrome was the finishing destination for the first time this year, and the event was brought forward to avoid a clash date with Queenstown's International Marathon next month. The Southland Marathon became the first full-length marathon in the Southern Hemisphere in 1909, and the race is in its second century on the same course. Still to come on the bulletin, a weekend wrap, plus we speak with new Southland District Council CEO Steve Ruru. Welcome back. Just 2 weeks into the job, a new Southland District Council Chief Executive Steve Ruru already has his feet firmly under the council table. Hunter Andrews spoke to him about his thoughts of Southland and his varied history in local government.
So I've been local authorities chief executive for the last 16 years, most recently in Kaipara and then previously in the Coromandel. And then I also had a period of time a few years ago in the 89 reforms as CFO at the Waikato Regional Council. So yeah, I've had plenty of experience in local government and look forward to bringing those skills and experiences into the south.
Let's talk about that past. Kaipara firstly. We really have to talk about it. Anyone who knows anything about local government knows what's happening in Kaipara with the Mangawhai, I think, waste treatment plant or water treatment plant, 62 million, I think, but the estimate was about 17 million.
Yes.
You went there knowing all that. Do you like a challenge?
I do like a challenge, and that was certainly a good challenge to sort out what went wrong, learn some lessons about why it went wrong, and then move on to fixing the issues that existed. And certainly we dealt with all those, rebuilt the organisation completely, got a local bill through Parliament to validate the irregularities of the past, had the Auditor General inquiry to explain what went on and why they got it wrong, and then obviously the judicial review process with the Mangawhai Ratepayers Association, who decided to challenge some of the decisions that were being made to right the ship and put it on the right pathway, which was their right.
In fact, they stopped paying rates, some of them.
They did stop paying rates now, and some of them are continuing to withhold, despite the judgment from the High Court, which says rates are payable. And again, that's their right to challenge those processes, but obviously the council will work through those issues. And at the end of the day, look, rates are a fundamental part of funding the services that local government provides. And when you look at the range of services you get for the rates you paid, you do get a very wide range of services for the equivalent of what you probably spend on your electricity bill or your phone account each year.
You mentioned the amalgamation way back in 1989. Of course, there's always, down here in particular, there's always talk about perhaps Gore and the Southland District or the Invercargill City all coming together. Do you see that on the horizon, or are the individual needs of each council to maintain that individualism? Do you think the individual needs are there, or do you think they should look at coming together?
Look, I think if you look at what's behind a lot of that drive, it's about how do we make the dollar go further and get efficient delivery of the services that we're providing. I think it's not only an efficiency question, it's also an effectiveness question in the sense of, are we providing the right services that are needed in each of our communities? And at the end of the day, local government is about representing local places and local communities. And so that has to be a strong driver of the way in which we're organised. I think, though, the South has done a lot of good work already on shared services and working together. If we continue to build on that and show that we are doing things efficiently and that are meeting the needs of our communities, then I don't see the same political central government drivers for reform in the South. But fundamentally it's about delivering the right things that meet the needs of our local communities.
What do you think the key issues are? Gary Tong, when he was elected a year ago, said that the infrastructure, roading in particular, was key. Will you agree with him on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And roading accounts for 50% of our budget. What we do know is that there's lots of pressure from a central government perspective to allocate funding into the big cities, obviously Christchurch and Auckland, and their roads of national significance projects again in the north are dragging a lot of the funding away. So really there's a need for Southland and to work with a lot of rural and provincial New Zealand and say, hey, we are fundamentally important. We are the places in which a lot of the economic wealth of the country is created, out of the farm gate. And it's absolutely important that, that, as again, I've been using the term, the first kilometre of roading out of the farm gate is as important as the last kilometre into the port. And we need to keep those messages up in front of government and make it clear that we need our fair share of funding to support the roading network that the people of Southland need.
And just quickly, personally, you have quite a big connection here in the south. You're not coming in cold, are you? You're almost a Southlander.
Almost a Southlander, yeah. My mother was born down here, and so all my grandparents and lots of family down here. In fact, when I first walked in here last Monday, I ran into one of my uncles in reception who was bailed me up about whether or not we mowed the berms in Winton because he was just moving house. I've got lots of family connections through Southland, and really looking forward to spending more time down here with the family that's here.
There was a smorgasbord of international flavours being enjoyed as part of a local Diwali celebration on Saturday night. The Southland Multicultural Society celebrated the traditional Indian festival Diwali, or Festival of Lights, at the Lindisfarne Community Centre. The ancient Hindu festival spiritually signifies the victory of light over darkness, and preparations and rituals typically last for several days. Bollywood dancing, singing, guitars and the symbolic lighting of the lamps made for an entertaining night out. The Lindisfarne Kindergarten had their annual market day on Saturday, and every year the number of stalls gets bigger. Each year the Kindergarten Committee organises a market day, and this year around a dozen stalls took part. Christmas crafts, card making, children's cakes and even a hairdressing stall were all on site, along with a sausage sizzle that was raising funds for type 1 diabetes awareness. Sustainable items like washable sandwich pockets were up for grabs, and natural products too. Current and past pupils' parents get involved, as well as community stallholders. The First Presbyterian Church in Invercargill was ringing with song yesterday as voices joined in unison for the annual Sing Fest. Musical styles from Renaissance to pop were performed by 7 local choirs. The a cappella singers, Whaiva Harmony Chorus, Uniquely Us, Winton Men's Probus Choir, The Ensemble, the South City Community Choir and Southern Sounds all took to the stage. The Singfest event's run by the New Zealand Choral Federation and brings together adult community choirs of all sizes and musical styles for a festival of choral music. And that's it from us. Sport is along from next after the weather. From us though, it's good night.